I can just hear the clock donging in the village of Tuchan. So I just pan round and just locate you here. I'm right up. Some of you might recognise where I am and what I'm actually sitting on. Anybody know what I am sitting on this morning? Over there you can see lovely view of the Pyrenees. All the snow that was here earlier in the year, it's already melted. Earlier on, it's already gone. So lovely blue sky. It's really warm here. Hi Julia. Really warm. It's about, I don't know, about 14, but it is a little bit windy, but we do like that north wind, the Tramontane. So over there is the Roussillon. Just got the Roussillon behind there. Collioure, Perpignan, Toteville Tower, and then panning round a little bit. Oh, we've got a man in the vineyard. Morning, Jean-Marc. Morning. Jean-Marc's collecting stones, and we're going to catch up with Jean-Marc later on to find out why he was doing those soil analysis and a bit more about that. And then behind here we have the Mediterranean, where the sun is rising. Leucate, Lapin, Portel, panning round Narbonne, the Languedoc. And then round here behind me we have a lovely view of the olive tree. Hi Steve. And panning around again, we have the Garrigue, the lovely natural Garrigue landscape, and then into the north wind. I know which direction this is, but Carcassonne is over there, and the Toche mountain, which rises up to 900 meters in the distance. Lovely limestone here. So I'm going to walk down. Oh no, the man has come up here himself. Right, okay, change in plan. Morning, Jean-Marc.
Morning.
Do you want to walk with me while I talk about the history, or shall I ask you some questions? Right.
What do you want?
On va descendre en bas. Okay, so let's just ramble down here as we're meant to be rambling. Otherwise, actually, I have rambled quite a lot this morning already because my Diane didn't want to start this morning. Jean-Marc's laughing. Yeah, my Diane. It has got petrol in it. Il y a de l'essence, but it just didn't want to start. So unfortunately I had to leg it up here. So I've done my ramble this morning, but now we're going to go downhill. So we're actually in Jean-Marc's Carignan vine. You can see all the leaves have fallen off now. So all the leaves are off. And we've still got, quite a few grappillons now. This would be a great time to come and get these really sweet grapes. I know, naughty Diane. Oh, ma tante te dit bonjour. Auntie Jane says hello. Yeah.
En fait, on ne les ramasse pas parce que c'est pas le meilleur pour faire le vin.
Yeah, they're not great for making wine. That's why we don't. They're not ripe, but when we pick the rest of the grapes, il faut faire attention à des grands trous. So there's big holes down here. And if you've got your tea towels out, look at this one here. It's massive, and I think somebody's been in it last night. What do you think? It's not wild boar. It's blaireaux. Anybody know what blaireaux are? And we're in the Puy de la Gardie vineyard. Almost walked into another one. Into the Puy de la Gardie vineyard, which is Jean-Marc's vineyard, on the tea towel just behind Tuchan. And this is Carignan. So these are some Carignan about 25, 30 years old. 20 years old. But I was just looking, we're going to go down, walk through the vineyard, and then have a couple of questions with my new mic with Jean-Marc. But I was just looking at the history again. Now, we were talking about that period, 1840 to 1913, and that must have been a really exciting time to live in Tuchan. Basically, in that time, the village was thriving. They had blacksmiths, weavers, because they had cloth, tinsmiths, people making saddles, gardeners. There was a whole, butchers, bakers. So there's a whole lot of people, and the population was about 1,100 people. And at the same time, plantations of vines absolutely exploded. So it went from 270 hectares up to 1,500 just in that period at the end of the 1800s. And I had a quick read on it again, and quite interesting. We know that the vineyards exploded because actually in the town hall, the mayor in 1855, the mayor brought in a new law, and that new law said that all dogs had to wear a muzzle right up until the end of the harvest, because dogs had been eating through and munching the grapes. So there were either a lot of dogs to have to bring in a new law, or there were very hungry dogs, or, which is probably right, a bit of both, I would think. So the mayor in 1855 brought in that law, which makes us think that there were a lot of grapes, and they were very precious, because the price of wine went increased threefold in that period. So everybody in Tuchan started to plant vines. Up till then, they'd sort of had a subsistence culture. Here, you have to remember, it's a really poor area. So they had literally just scratched a living. They tried growing vegetables, they had goats, they had sheep, they had wheat as well. There were mines, gypsum mines, coal mines. Basically, they'd sort of tried everything. But at the end of the 1800s, it was thriving. The vines were thriving, and the village must have been really bustly, probably a bit more bustly than it was today. Wine production increased, but they were still making it at home. Do you remember? I mentioned that people actually, all the growers would make it in their houses. And some houses actually had vats, or they called them pipe, as in pipes, vats actually built into the houses. They were the more wealthy families, but wealthy, relatively speaking, had the vat built into their ground floor, and that explains why the ground floor has really high ceilings. So just before I ask Jean-Marc some questions, it was just to say that period here must have been very, very exciting. It was really easy to plant vines. There was no odium, there was no mildew, no vine disease. So literally the growers would just get the roots on the sticks, on the sarment, and go out and plant vineyards. So it was relatively easy to plant a vineyard. And in that period, they just went out and planted. Some of you mentioned phylloxera. So phylloxera came at the end, about 1881 in Tuchan, and apparently it didn't really upset the amount of vines that had been planted, because there was enough land to rip up the phylloxera attacked one and to replant at the same time. So you don't see much change in the amount of hectares that were planted. However, it wasn't going to last. It was the heyday of grape growing in Tuchan, but that was not going to last, and that will be the next chapter in the very exciting history of Tuchan. But now something a little bit more exciting. Ha! Oh, Jean-Marc almost fell asleep, I can tell. But just before we start, I'm going to get out my new toy. So take that one off, because it's quite windy today, and to avoid too much wind noise. Oh, sorry, I've got this. So just plug this in. Wow, how professional does this look now? Can you just hello, testing.
Hello.
Can we still hear Jean-Marc?
Is it better?
I don't know. Can we still hear Jean-Marc? So just waiting for a comment, because somebody just say.
Mais je parle pas.
Oh, well, what have you had your coffee?
C'est quoi la question?
Have you had your coffee this morning?
No.
No. Oh, you haven't had coffee? Oh my goodness, I better hurry up. Okay, yeah, thumbs up. Tony said he can hear you, so excellent.
Thank you.
So now we're ready. So, Jean-Marc, sorry, well, no, I'm not sorry, but here you are in the vineyard this morning. Et la dernière fois, en fait, on avait parlé, on t'a vu prendre des analyses de sol. So last time we saw you out in the vineyard taking soil analysis, and I just wondered, or people wanted to know, what exactly were you doing? So just asking him, qu'est-ce que tu faisais exactement?
En fait, là, je voudrais suivre un peu mieux le fonctionnement de la vigne. Donc là, on va commencer à faire des analyses au niveau du sol pour connaître le potentiel. Oui. Quand tu auras fini de tourner.
So you really want to understand the soils.
Ouais, comment ça fonctionne, parce qu'en fait le climat change et l'alimentation de la vigne aussi doit évoluer.
So the climate is changing and we need to adapt how we're working the vines, basically.
L'objectif, ce n'est pas de produire davantage,
So we're not looking to increase our yields at all,
mais c'est d'avoir une production de qualité et la plus régulière possible.
but to get a good regular production.
Et pour ça, on va faire on fait des analyses de sol, puis on va analyser les sarments.
So what we saw the other day, we were just analysing the topsoil. C'était le sol sur la surface presque.
Oui, mais de toute manière, la plante s'alimente avec les premières couches du sol.
So saying we were only taking the topsoil, and Jean-Marc was saying yes, that's where the plant gets most of its nutrients, from the topsoil.
Voilà. Et ensuite, les racines qui plongent, c'est pour l'alimentation en eau.
And then the roots that go deeper are mainly for water, for getting water, but most of the nutrients come from the top part of the soil. So that's what we were looking at the other
ensuite,
day.
donc, on va analyser les sarments pour voir ce que la vigne a.
And then I think this is quite exciting. We're not going to stop there. We're actually then going to analyse the shoots from the vines.
Ensuite, on va faire des fosses avec la mini-pelle pour regarder comment les racines sont implantées.
And so the third thing, we're also going to dig holes in the vineyard with the digger. Tu vas te regarder avec le mini-pelle. So Jean-Marc's going to get his digger out so that we can actually go a bit deeper down. Quelle profondeur à peu près?
On va faire des profondeurs de 1 mètre à peu près.
So we're going to go down about 1 meter
1 mètre, 1
deep.
mètre 50.
So that we can
Ça dépend le sous-sol.
Yeah, depending on what we hit, but that will really show us how far the roots are going down, and the structure, the soil structure.
Voilà. Et ensuite, on fera des analyses sur les feuilles, donc à la véraison, à peu près à la floraison et à la véraison, pour voir comment la plante s'alimente et pouvoir éventuellement corriger et voir ce qu'il faut apporter.
So we're going to redo the soil analysis, or
Non,
the
des feuilles.
the feuilles.
Des feuilles.
Oh, and then in the spring at flowering,
Et à la véraison après.
and when the grapes change colour, we're going to take samples of the leaves, and we're going to analyse the leaves to see how they have reacted to
Comme ça, on va
what
suivre
we're doing.
sur une année un peu l'alimentation de la vigne.
So for a whole year, we're going to follow how those vines are picking up the nutrients from the soil.
Pour pouvoir éventuellement corriger s'il y a des besoins.
And then if we need to, we can then correct the soil depending on the results of the
Peut-être
analysis.
directement sur le feuillage.
Or on the leaves, or directly spray the leaves there. So, thank you very much, Jean-Marc. Lots of really interesting. So we can follow you. When are you digging the big holes, the meter holes?
Je pense qu'on va faire un mardi prochain.
So next Tuesday,
Mais par contre,
at 8:30?
on le fera l'après-midi.
So next Tuesday in the afternoon, we'll be out. Jean-Marc will be out with the digger, digging 1 meter holes in a couple of the vineyards. So I'll go out and film that. So we will do an afternoon, as well as a morning one. We'll have an afternoon random ramble, just so we can follow through this whole analysis process. Yeah, Adam, il s'étend qu'on le fait. Il savait pas qu'on le faisait sur un an, en fait.
En fait, là, je veux faire un suivi sur un an pour pouvoir mieux comprendre les besoins de la vigne et à quel moment la vigne a des besoins.
So basically, some you wouldn't normally, but this we really want to understand the whole process. We don't want to just stop at the soil analysis. We want to take it further and actually see how the plant is picking up the nutrients and the water.
Parce que certaines fois, le sol, c'est comme un garde-manger. Il peut y avoir beaucoup de nutriments pour la vigne dans le sol, mais par contre, il peut y avoir aussi des blocages qui fait que la vigne ne peut pas s'alimenter, même si elle est dans le sol.
Jean-Marc says the soil is a bit like the vine's larder. So they've all got this, the soil is the larder with all the nutrients in, and but sometimes for some reason the plant may not be able to assimilate the nutrients from the soil, and that's what we want to check to make sure that they are actually picking up or getting the best that they can from the soils. Wow, I've learnt quite a lot there, Jean-Marc. Thank you very much. So if you've got any questions, I'll just check the questions here. And perhaps you can tell me as well, is there any wind? It is a bit windy here, it's a north wind. So has this microphone cured the wind problem, so to speak? If somebody could just comment on that. Let's have a look at some questions. Nigel demande combien d'hectares de vignes il y en a maintenant. Je pense que c'est avec toutes les plantes. On t'a vu planter.
Oui, mais là ça ne change pas beaucoup parce qu'en fait, lorsque les nouvelles plantations vont arriver, c'est pour arracher des parcelles qui commencent à être en mauvais état. Donc en fait, on va garder le même superficie, c'est environ 13 hectares sur chaque domaine.
So talking about Jean-Marc's domain has about 13 hectares and mine is about 12, so similar. But the idea, I know you've seen us out and scrubbing up, or not scrubbing up, but preparing vineyards to plant. We're not going to increase the amount of hectares we have. We're going to stay the same, but we're going to improve. So vineyards that aren't doing too well, we'll be replacing those with the new vineyards that you've seen Jean-Marc planting. So he's going to stick at 13 hectares. So
À peu près.
approximately 13 hectares. Thanks very much for that one, Nigel. I'm loving the microphone. Nikki te demande comment va le tracteur.
Pour le moment, il est en vacances. Il est confiné.
Tractor's having a bit of a holiday. It's been confined to the garage. Ça va? C'était grave le problème?
Ah, oui. En fait, non, je pensais le chenillard.
Oh, he was thinking about Mignon, how
Yeah.
sweet. No, the big tractor,
No.
your big
Non,
tractor.
oui,
How's the big
on
tractor?
a perdu juste une pièce sous le tracteur, donc ça aurait pu casser le pont.
Oh, so we lost a bit of the tractor fell off in the vineyard and it could have broken the big main axe, is it?
Ouais,
Axle?
le pont avant.
The forward bridge, if anybody
a eu
knows
un
what this,
peu
that
de
could have
chance, là.
broken. And we were really lucky that didn't actually bend or break.
Là, on l'a réparé, c'est bon.
But it's been repaired. Thanks very much, Nikki, for being concerned. Lisa says she's found both of Jean-Marc's wines in Waitrose.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much. And then a question from Vicky. Is Jean-Marc happy with how nutritious the soil is currently based on the analysis? Donc il y a quelqu'un déjà qui te demande, Nikki, est-ce que tu es content ou satisfait avec les nutriments qui sont actuellement dans le sol basés sur l'analyse?
Je n'ai pas encore les résultats.
So we haven't got the results back, Vicky.
We need approximately 2 weeks for the result.
Okay, so we need 2 weeks. Oh, cute. I've got both hands full this morning. So we need 2 weeks before we get the analysis back. But we can look at the analysis when they come back, and we can show people on the rambles exactly the difference in the analysis and what nutrients we have. So exciting stuff to come. History and a bit of soil management too. And just one final question, perhaps. Let's have a look. So Kate Sweet says, do you plant particular cover crops or just let them seed themselves? You can add certain nutrients with... I haven't got the whole question. Donc, Kate Sweet, elle demande si tu plantes entre les rangées ou est-ce que c'est naturel ce qu'on voit là?
Non, c'est naturel.
Et est-ce que ça peut emmener des nutriments qui manquent?
Oui, en fait, ça participe à la vie du sol.
So yes, that definitely helps with the soil life. We haven't planted here. This is all natural seeding of its wild rockets.
Maintenant, je ne veux pas labourer à cette période parce qu'en fait, l'herbe permet de maintenir le sol en place au cas où il y a des pluies importantes.
Interesting. So Jean-Marc doesn't want to plough at the moment because this is the time of year when we have big heavy rains, and having this it's not a cover crop because we didn't plant it, but having the rocket and the grass in between the vines at this time of year helps to keep the soil in place should it rain, because one of our big problems is soil erosion in the vineyard. So this prevents soil erosion should it rain, and because it is a time of heavy rains.
Et ensuite, lorsqu'on laboure, donc on enfouit effectivement de la matière organique, donc ça permet de maintenir la vie dans le sol. Ouais. L'herbe, quand on l'enfouit.
Oh, and then when we do come to plough it back in, definitely that will help get certain nutrients back into the soil. So nutriments in French and nutrients in English. Okay, thank you very much for that. That's brilliant. Now I just have my one. Oh, you still got some wind noise. I can see that. It has got a Dougal cover. Oh, I need a bigger cover on it. Okay. Well, we're going to work it out. So I need one of those hairy covers on here, do I? Okay. But runoff, yes, that was a word for the soil. So great, thanks for all these comments. I do look back on it and I can read them later on. So very interesting stuff. Thanks for all of your comments. So a quick question for you. For those of you who would like to win, let's go for a tea towel today. So up the stakes a bit. If anybody would like to win a tea towel, the first person to put on the screen the year that the mayor brought in the law saying that dogs had to wear muzzles up until the end of the harvest. Did you know that, Jean-Marc?
Approximatively, yeah.
Did you hear? No, you know the date. Did you know that tu sais, t'étais au courant? 1855. That's Karen. Congratulations, it was 1855. Brilliant, well done, Karen. So a tea towel on its way to you. Excellent. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, Jean-Marc.
Avec plaisir.
Thanks very much, everybody. And I'll be back on Tuesday. So have a wonderful weekend. And it's going to be same time, but it will be a different vine. So have a great day, everybody. Great to see you all.